you mentioned the way your coworkers move and watching the way they do things. It was brought to my attention a long time ago that people that generally have don't show, right? You live next to the guy that's balling, and he drives the same bucket he's been driving, wears the same clothes, lives a moderate life. But maybe us folks, we ain't got it, but we gonna show what little we don't have, right? We gonna have the chains, we gonna have this, we gonna have that, the car payments, everything to go for it. How do you combat that mentality? Someone that feels like, hey, I have to show what I have, or the idea that maybe it comes from generations of not having or whatever, and finally you get a little piece. Like, how do you combat somebody that thinks that's the way to go?
It's rough because, Pastor and I, that's one of our jokes. We use the phrase old money and new money. You can see new money. And we understand. I mean, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad. You never had. You finally made it. And you gotta wear it. You gotta drive it. I understand. I mean, it's not like we don't understand the emotional aspect of it. Because there's an emotional aspect to money. It's not just a number. And what it does to you emotionally, what it does to you psychologically. So when you do get to that point where you get the money, if you still have that psychological challenge, the money really does meet it. Because poverty and struggle affects you emotionally. It affects your self-image. It affects your perspective on how you see the world, how you see who you are, your identity. Which is why it's strange. Like, you can see somebody with money and without money, and they look different, and you think, they didn't physically change, but the money changed them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I understand. And that's why we talked about the rich man who showed up to Jesus and he said, go get rid of the money. And he was like, I can't do that. Right. You are under the control of this money. I want you to be in control of the money, and I'll give you 100 times that. But I'm not going to tell you I'll give 100 times that, because that's the only reason why you'll do it. So I'm just going to tell you, give it up. And each of us has that give it up day. And it's funny. It's like I'm saying this, and there's a parallel to relationships where it's the same thing. My friend used to tell me, well, I won't tell you what I told me.
Yes.
But I'll tell you this. Like how I met Pastor Angel. The day I said, I'm done, I'm single, I'm trying too hard, I'm out there, I'm scouting, I'm working hard, I'm doing too much, I'm doing way too much, I'm doing too much, is that it? I'm doing too much. I was working, you know, and it was getting me nowhere. And you know, it was just stupid relationship after stupid relationship, and the Lord was like, you know, stop it. And his voice sounded a lot like my friend Nathan. It was Nate telling me that. Nate was like, boy, here's what the Lord showed me. The Lord said, you give it up. You stop. You trust me 100%. Watch me respond. And you know, that's in church, that's a great thing to say. That's a good amen. Put a scripture with it, and that's a sermon. You know what I'm saying? But I took him serious. And I said, you know what? I'm done. And it wasn't months when this happened. In the same way,
this amazingness,
this
awesomeness,
this wonderfulness,
life-changing,
all of this, you're seeing it happened. In the same way, I had to have that moment where, and I told you the story about the tithe and that kind of stuff, where I had to say, money does not own me anymore. I don't live for this thing. I own money. Money doesn't control me. And I went through that transition during that job. I had some difficult years. Very difficult years. And I talk about it a little bit, just in case the guy picks it up. You know what I'm saying? Just let him know. I'm sure. No, I'm just playing. Okay. But seriously, yeah. And I got to that point where I realized, hey, you have to have that victory first. I'm a big fan of Shark Tank. And Mr. Wonderful, who's not wonderful, right? A very rude guy. But he said something that was profound that I never let go. He said, don't be emotional about money. He'd always tell people, like, because somebody would cry, this is my dream. I know. And he'd be like, don't be emotional about money. And he would always say that. And the Lord explained it to me. He's like, let me tell you. He said, when you're emotional about money, your money fluctuates with your emotions.
And your emotions fluctuate.
If you tie and your emotions fluctuate with your money. He's like, you tie your emotions to your money, seeing that your emotions are unreliable and can change, your money will be moving with your emotions. And he's like, is that what you want? And that's when you have victory over it, where the money doesn't move here. And it's like, it's when you get to that day, and I was talking, and you know, when I talk to my friends who would listen, you would be surprised how it changes it. That's why when you get to that day, you don't act like new money anymore. Because it doesn't do anything for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you get to that point where you can hold 20, 30, 40,000 grand and just hold it there and just, it's money.
You don't have the Instagram.
It's money. Like you don't have to floss. Like and then it's like, who cares? It's money. You know what I'm saying? When you can buy whatever you want, but it's fine. And it's like, I don't even have to buy it. But I could. Yeah, I just wanted to get to the point where I could. And it's when you could, that's when you don't. When I could get the latest iPhone, I'm like, no, I'm going to Walmart. I'm telling the truth. And I give me a track phone.
I know.
$40 a month.
I trust that in you. I've known you long
$40 a month.
No.
Why? Why am I paying more than that $40 a month?
I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm just glad I can text you now. I'm just glad.
Right. Listen, I couldn't get pictures. Facebook, I couldn't download pictures. People would text me and be like, what is this thing? It would slow my phone down. I couldn't get photos. I couldn't get photos. Why? Why didn't photos work? I said, what are you guys doing? You guys doing?
I see you in real life, right?
What are you guys doing? I think Angel bought me my first smartphone that could get photos.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bless. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother's old phone. My brother had what do you call those phones?
So that was his first Christmas gift. We were dating. I bought him a cell
phone. What phone? But I'm saying, the thing is, when you get power over money, you don't act like new money. I learned that from my parents. Like, you will never know how much money any of us have. Never. You can't even guess. You can look at me like, he probably worth about, stop.
You have to Google you.
You have no idea. You have no idea. Why? Because we're not wearing it. Because we no longer need, it doesn't emotionally sustain us. It doesn't make me feel good. Like I remember I'd go to the mall and stuff and you see these girls of our demographic, unfortunately, with their hands, with all these bags from all these stores, and it makes them feel good. It's like, look at me, I just spent $50 on this, whatever. I just bought these $1,000 bread bottoms. Look at me. And stuff. And it's great. And I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? But as long as your emotions are tied to your money will always be unstable.
I'm going to let the spirit move. I wanted to sound real cool with these questions I had. But following what you just said, right, I think one of the